The knock was soft, almost respectful, as if the person on the other side already knew what they were about to destroy. I opened the door barefoot, coffee still warm in my hand, and saw her standing there, Ava. In that yellow sundress I used to love, holding a small box like it weighed 1,000 pounds. "I didn't know how else to do this," she said. I didn't understand. Not yet. My smile twitched, waiting for the punchline. Instead, she handed me the box and turned. Walked down the hallway of our building, her hair tucked behind one ear, the way she always did when she was nervous. I stood there for a full minute before lifting the lid. Inside were all the keys I'd ever given her. My apartment, my studio, the beach house her father never liked. But it was the photo that made my chest seize, the one of us in Madrid, printed and folded, cut sharply down the middle. Only I remained in the frame. I didn't call her. I didn't move. It took me until that night to open her message. It was short. "I never meant for you to find out like this. I'm sorry." That was it. No name, no context. But the next day, the name came anyway. I was on the scaffolding of a mid-rise in Chelsea when Jamie, my assistant, climbed up with his phone held out. "You need to see this," he said, breathless. It was an Instagram story, a glittering rooftop in Tribeca, a ring, obscenely large, slipped onto her finger by a man I'd seen before only on Forbes. Dean Wexler, tech mogul, 42, too polished, too white-toothed, and Ava was smiling like I'd never existed. Caption: She said yes. The photo was taken 2 nights ago. I remember laughing, out loud, in front of Jamie and the crew and the open sky. It came out strangled, something closer to a cough. Then I climbed down, left my gear in the dust, and walked until my legs trembled. That night, she texted again. "I'd like you to come to the engagement party. It would mean a lot. Closure." Closure. I stared at the word until it blurred. I typed nothing. I slept with the lights on. The invitation arrived in the mail 2 days later. Black envelope, gold script, like a threat dressed in velvet. RSVP requested. I didn't respond. But I kept the invitation on my fridge, like a crime scene photo you can't look away from. 3 nights before the event, I pulled the shoebox from under my bed, the one I hadn't touched in 8 months. I took out the photos, the receipts, the flight confirmations, everything that had never made sense until now. Then I opened my laptop and started to write. I didn't tell anyone I was going. The party was at the Vellum, a rooftop venue wrapped in floor-to-ceiling glass, high above Manhattan like it wanted to pretend it wasn't part of the city at all. The kind of place where the champagne never stopped and every laugh sounded rehearsed. I wore my charcoal suit, the one she used to say made me look like I belonged on magazine covers. I hadn't worn it since our last gala together, the night she whispered she wanted something real with me. I tried not to think about that as I rode the elevator up. The hostess at the front didn't even blink when she took my name. "Right this way, Mr. Cross," she said, as if I wasn't walking into the belly of something that had already eaten me once. I stepped into the main room. People were already mingling, faces flushed with wine and flattery. And there she was, centered, aglow in a backless white dress, her fingers curled around Dean Wexler's arm, like they were molded to fit there. Her eyes landed on me like a spark catching dry grass. "Lucas," she said, breath hitching. Dean turned, smiled. "So this is the famous architect." I took his handshake. Firm, dry. His grip said I won, but his smile said I know. "Ava," I said, my voice even. "Congratulations." She didn't thank me, just nodded. Her lipstick was too red. I didn't stay long in that crowd. I moved through it like scaffolding, temporary, necessary. I made small talk, noted the pianist in the corner playing something too cheerful. I drank sparkling water. I waited. And then, when the clinking of glasses signaled a toast, I made my move. "I'd like to say something," I said, stepping forward. Dean raised an eyebrow. Ava froze. I stood before 100 faces I didn't know, every pair of eyes curious or calculating. My hands didn't shake. I'd practiced this too many times. "I've known Ava for 5 years, loved her for most of them, and for the longest time, I thought I knew who she was. But truth has a way of slipping out, even from behind the best curtains." I pulled the envelope from my jacket pocket. Thick, cream-colored. The same one that had lived in my drawer since April. I held it up. "These are receipts. For dinners I never ate. Hotel rooms I never stayed in. A weekend trip to Napa, she said, was with her sister, except her sister was in Italy." Gasps, a laugh somewhere, uncomfortable and quick. I glanced at Ava. Her face had gone slack. "This isn't revenge," I said, softer now. "This is clarity, because it's one thing to be left and another to be lied to while you build a future from sand." I stepped back, placed the envelope on the table near the champagne tower. No shouting, no scene, just silence, the kind that drips cold into your collar. Ava didn't move. Dean looked down at her like he was seeing something new. And me, I walked out, into the elevator, down through the lobby, into the night. I didn't cry. Not that night, not after. But the following morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Emails, messages, missed calls, a clip of my speech, shaky and vertical, had already hit TikTok. 10 million views in 6 hours. Architect exposed trended. People took sides like it was a custody battle. Some praised me. Others called me petty. Most just watched, shared, judged. I turned it all off. Then I packed a bag and took the train upstate to my father's cabin, the one place untouched by Ava's memory. It was quiet there. No signal. Just the hiss of the old heater and the creak of wood contracting in the cold. For 2 days, I slept. Ate canned soup. Walked until my calves ached. I thought that would be enough. It wasn't. The silence didn't heal. It echoed. Her voice, her lies, my stupid trust. All of it looped inside my skull until I had to scream into the forest just to hear something real. And then the snow came. Fast, heavy, trapping me inside with nothing but a journal I hadn't touched since college. I opened it, wrote one sentence. She never said sorry like she meant it. Then another. I never asked why, only how long. I wrote for hours, not about her, but me. The holes I'd ignored, the nights I'd brushed off her late returns, the way she flinched when I said always. I cried once, short, raw, then nothing. On the 5th day, a knock startled me. My father, unexpected, frowning in the doorway. "You went viral," he said. I nodded. "She called me." That made me look up. "What?" "Said you humiliated her." I laughed, sharp. "Did she mention the cheating?" "She said you made it public, that you wanted to punish her." I stared at him. "Do you think I did?" He didn't answer, just looked around the cabin. "You should come home, Lucas. Not to the city. Home." I stayed 2 more nights. When I returned, the frenzy had dimmed. People had moved on to the next scandal, the next confession. But Ava hadn't. A letter waited for me, handwritten, no return address. "You got what you wanted. They all saw. But they don't know me. You did. Or you thought you did. I lied. I cheated. I broke you. But you broke us too, the moment you made it a performance. There was a truth you could have said without the theater. No apology. Just that." I folded it once, twice, then fed it into the fire. The next morning, I opened my laptop again. Not to write about her, but to design something new. A project I'd been afraid to begin. This time I wasn't building to prove anything. I just needed to create. Something honest, something mine. And I didn't look back. 3 weeks later, I received another invitation. Not handwritten, not velvet. This one came via email, with RSVP links and a glossy photo header. TEDx Manhattan, Truth and the Architecture of Letting Go. My name was listed as a speaker. Jamie had submitted my name without telling me. Attached was a letter from the organizers. Your story struck a chord. We believe the world would benefit from hearing it unfiltered from you. I didn't say yes right away, but I didn't delete the email either. I spent the next few days rewriting the speech I'd never planned to give again. No audience of bitter elites this time. No glimmering rooftop or champagne towers. Just a stage, a mic, and my voice. The auditorium was packed. Half were there for the drama. The rest, I hoped, for something else. Backstage, I paced, practiced, breathed in patterns, and then my name was called. As I stepped onto the stage, the lights blinded me for a moment. I took in the rows of faces, some familiar from screens, others blank slates. I adjusted the mic. I'm not here to settle scores, I began. I'm here to tell the truth. Not about her, but about me. About the man who believed silence was dignity. About the man who mistook being needed for being loved. No envelope this time. No receipts. Just words. I held on to a fantasy for too long. A version of her. A version of us. I wanted to believe love meant staying no matter what. But love without truth is performance. And I was tired of acting. I told them everything. The Madrid photo, the box of keys, the silence that followed. But I'm not bitter, I said. Not anymore. Because when I spoke that night, I wasn't just exposing her, I was freeing myself from the weight of what wasn't real, from the prison of pretending. The auditorium was still, people weren't breathing. I ended simply. There's no clean ending, no perfect healing. There's just this, me, here, no longer carrying someone else's version of my story. I stepped back. Applause followed, thunderous and rising. But I didn't wait for it to end. I walked off stage, down the hall, out the back door, and into the evening air. I didn't look at my phone, didn't check the hashtags. I just kept walking.